My unit, salute. If you are wondering how boring, how lazy, how bad Monday Night Raw has become, looks like it'll continue to be, you came to the right place. 'Cause BC gonna rip this show a new asshole. So, have some coffee, BC, a little bit more coffee, so we can talk about it. Monday Night Raw 4/28/25. 1 week removed from WrestleMania 41. A season that was not just irrelevant, it was non-existent. A WrestleMania that is beyond forgettable. And now we're on the road to Backlash. What, 11 days away? Something like 12 from yesterday. I believe it's less than 2 weeks already, the next PLE. So they're just like a snowball fight, man. You're bobbing and weaving, right? Because they're chucking matches left and right. They got less than 2 weeks. What do you mean it doesn't feel like a proper build for anything? What do you mean Logan Paul versus Jey Uso? That sounds weird? Weird. Yeah, it does. It does sound a little weird. It's a stepping stone match. So most people probably won't have an issue with this because it's a throwaway. It's less than 2 weeks. You bat an eyelash, Backlash, and WrestleMania are in the rear view mirror, so nobody cares, right? It's a stepping stone for Jey Uso to get onto another bullshit feud and nonsensical title match that nobody gives a shit about, let's be honest. That's a real thing, by the way. If you missed the show, Logan Paul, Jey Uso was set up last night. Why? Because Logan came out and said, I want the world title. And Jey comes out and super kicks him. Gives him one of the worst super kicks I've ever seen. Laid into it, not negative 30% laid into it. Maybe it grazed his shoulder a little bit. And then afterwards, Logan knocked him out backstage. Said, there's a receipt. And because of that, man, it's on. Logan, Jey Uso. I don't know how you're not excited about this, man. Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria, man, where are they going with this? Becky comes back, she wins the tag titles with Lyra. A day later, she's turning on Lyra. Does Hunter Hearst Helmsley have something huge planned? Yeah, Becky comes out, says some words, Lyra comes out, drops Becky. Becky runs away. Lyra goes to walk away. Becky comes out of some other area, the curtain, top of the ramp, knocks out Lyra. Tag, you're it. What the? A kid with a coloring book and some crayons could book better than that. War Raiders versus JD McDonald's and Finn Balor. Oh, that's yes. And Penta is deciding that match. Penta is deciding this tag team, but that's, yes. Basically, they could bring back Ray Phoenix. They could be the Lucha Brothers in a division that is non-existent. Who gives a shit? Who cares? There's plenty of good tag teams. There's no division that anybody cares about. Penta taking out McDonald's during a War Raiders versus Judgment Day match. You'd have more fun playing in traffic, waiting to get hit by a Mack truck. What else? Nothing else was on this show. McAfee stands on top of the commentary table, and he's like, Gunther, you pissed off my friend, Michael Cole, which means you pissed me off. I want you at Backlash. Nick Aldis. Adam Pearce doesn't even want to be on this show. Adam Pearce hightails it. Nick Aldis is making all the decisions. He's like, Backlash, you have a match. I will lift the suspension from Gunther. So Hunter's grand plan, just go out there and tap out to Jey Uso from your own move in 8 seconds. And don't worry, we have a badass angle afterwards. You're going to take out the commentary team. That'll make you look so uber badass. Said not one BC ever. The ladies are out there. I don't even know. They're bringing all the NXT ladies out there. They're all looking like geeks. It's all just for Iyo and Rhea to down the line get that title back to Rhea. So Giulia and Rok-C are little pawns in the game. So Rhea and Iyo are looking at each other last night like, can we coexist? And Rhea's like, I don't know, can we coexist? And Io's like, I don't know, can we coexist? That's the storyline in WWE. Can they coexist? Nobody gives a shit about Rhea and Iyo coexisting. Nobody cares about them facing each other again. Move on. That's the whole show. It revolved around one main thing, Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins. And the next morning, I still don't know what this was all about. I'm trying to comprehend this. Sami Zayn once again came out to show his disapproval because Sami Zayn is the moral high compass in WWE. He's always coming out and he's always in everybody's business. You ever notice that? Because that's the only story Hunter has for him. He has nothing up front, so you're going to just play like this little third wheel. You're not happy with the way Seth is living life. He just did it a few months ago, remember, with the whole CM Punk angle. Man, you're getting out of hand, Seth. He does it all the time. And Samuel Zayn's out there going, I don't know about how you're going about business with Braun Breaker and this guy, Paul Heyman. You're losing your way. And Seth is like, how about you just go to SmackDown? First, I don't know what he was saying. In the first 20-minute promo, he's like, if you join us, you're good. If you don't, you're going to get beat up every week. Something like that. I don't even know. And then backstage, Paul Heyman is like, if you move to SmackDown, you will face the winner of Cena versus Orton. If you stay on Raw, it's going to be a problem with Breaker and Rollins. So just move the SmackDown, accept the trade, and you get an automatic title shot. Where is this coming from? A, B, nobody, and I do mean nobody, needs to see Samuel Zayn versus Jonathan Cena as one of Cena's last matches. He's probably only got like 3 left. He's got 20-something appearances. Most of those are just talking on the microphone, showing up. And maybe 3 matchups? Maybe they squeeze a 4th? Samuel Zayn is going to be it? No, man. And if you need to see Sami Zayn Randy Orton for the 814th time, good for you, not for BC, not for the unit, not for most wrestling fans. No, thank you. We can definitely see something fresh, something organic, something new. And he was not going to SmackDown anyway, so by the end of the night, we wasted a half an hour with the decision and just watching Breaker versus Samuel Zayn for the 64th time. How many times do you need to see Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker? But you saw it again last night. And when the show was done, Samuel Zayn just gets his ass whooped. That was what the show revolved around. Sami Zayn, a dude that is never involved in anything, wasn't even at WrestleMania, so they gave him a consolation prize. This Raw will revolve around you. It's going to be about the decision. What the fuck is the decision? I still don't know what this was all about. Seth is like, just move to SmackDown, man. And I won't have Breaker beat you up. And Sammy's like, I don't run from things. No. And Braun beats him up. Wow, exhilarating television. Come on, man. It is 2025. We are a week removed from a weak-ass WrestleMania 41. And the stars of last night were Samuel Zayn and Jason Uso. If you are a fan that shows up, you pay $1,000, you show up to these shows, and you yeet for 20 minutes, you sing along for 25 minutes, right? There was a sign in the crowd that says, I just came here to yeet. That's what a lot of these fans are doing these days. And Hunter is taking his focus groups, and he's going around the arena, and he's seeing what works. These are the markiest of marks, though. They're going to show up to sing and chant for anything. You can't gauge your wrestling audience by who's showing up, not solely. Your numbers, your ratings will tell you what is working and what is not. That is your main course meal. Those showing up at these arenas, that's your appetizers. And you see that those shows are shrinking, right? A lot more people are not showing up. Mania was not a legit sellout. They could not sell out shows leading up to it for the first time in years. Inconsistent sellouts leading up to Mania. Ratings went backwards. SmackDown post-Mania backwards by 150,000. 150,000 viewers. Nobody even needed to see all of the backlash from WrestleMania. They lost. 150,000 viewers. Merchandise sales are still down in the 20 percentile from just a year ago. All the metrics are backwards. They had to. They're all going backwards. They had to actually take away live events because they were not even selling half the arenas. Half the arenas were not being sold for live events. It was becoming embarrassing. That was a word that was being used behind the scenes within the walls of Stamford, Connecticut's World Wrestling Entertainment. It was becoming embarrassing. So they had to take away live events. But I thought that's how we're gauging everybody. They just want to show up and participate. They don't even care what the wrestlers are saying on the microphone anymore, and I can't even blame them. They don't even care. They just want to talk over it and chant over it and sing over it. That's all they want to do. And that's what you're gauging everything on. And you don't have to rest everything on the IWC either, because that's not your main course either. I totally get it. Everybody crying, what do they call them? The Cody crybabies, right? The IWC a year ago. No, BC, the unit, most wrestling fans, we were not one of those. We knew that Rock versus Roman's the bigger, better match. We didn't need to see Cody versus Roman Part 2 just for Cody to finish his story a year too late so he can hold around a fucking toy and nothing would be meaningful for a full year. That's basically what happened. And it all culminated to a botch at WrestleMania 41 anyway. So we should have just got Rock Roman. But no, the IWC flips out. So you have the fans that show up in attendance. You have the IWC. And there's this tug of war. This push and pull. The main audience isn't crying over here with the IW. And the main audience isn't over here singing and chanting and yeeting with the live crowd. The main audience is watching and hoping to be captivated, to be entertained, to the point where we want to take our wallet out, buy that cool badass t-shirt, show up to that event live, even if we got to pay a little extra, keep our Netflix and our Peacock subscription so we can watch all of the WWE product. That's what we're doing. We're not taking it to the extremes. That's what a fan is. Praise it when it's good. Rip it to shreds when it's bad, just like I would my New York Yankees, my Knicks tonight in Game 5 of the playoffs, Knicks and Pistons in Madison Square Garden. It's what I do with my Green Bay Packers, and I'll be damned if somebody at the top of WWE tells me I'm not a real fan or to just F off and F you if you don't like what you're watching. No, I watched pro wrestling way before you, Hunter Helmsley. Way before you were even in the company, I was watching and loving this shit. I'll be damned if you come along and tell me what I am, what type of a fan, if even I am, and where I can fuck off to, if such. You can fuck off. You are destroying professional wrestling with garbage shows like this. This is trash. This Monday Night Raw should have never been written. It should never been accepted. It should never have aired. And I can't believe Netflix is allowing this garbage, spending $5 billion. There's an opt-out clause after 5 years. I say they go to courts and they try to get out after a year. And that's being generous because a year of this bullshit is too much. A year too much. And then we talk about the live crowds just participating and cheering and chanting and singing for everything. Where were they? Kansas City? Something like that last night. And people are blaming the crowd for not being lively, for not being amplified. How the fuck are you going to watch a show? Let me get a swig of coffee, because now I'm going to really fucking know. You thought I was amplified? Nah. Hold on. I'll be amplified. How are you going to watch a show like last night, Monday Night Raw, from Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Paul Levesque McMahon, his credits right there, right? He wants you to know that all the shit that you're consuming, it's his shit. How are you going to watch a show last night and blame the crowd for not being... What would you be lively about? Think! Come on, think! What would you be lively about? War Raiders and JD McDonald's and Finn Balor? Is Rok-C and Ripley ending in a schmaz with Giulia and Iyo coming out and each getting, Iyo's clearing house and then Iyo's getting beat down and then Rhea jumps in to save her and the heels run away? And is that supposed to make Kansas City go, wow, this is amazing? Thank goodness we spent $1,000 a ticket. Is it Steph Vaquer defeating Ivy Nile with no storyline, no nothing, just a straight up wrestling match? Ivy looks up at the lights and Kansas City is supposed to explode, I guess. A storyline for the entire 2.5 hours. That's right, not even 3. They can't even be bothered to give you an extra half an hour. Hunter wants to do the bare minimum. I found out they absolutely can go 3 hours if they choose. They have to go over 2 hours. And WWE's model is to go around 2.5. They make sure they pinpoint that, man. They do not like to go over that 2.5. So the whole 2.5 hours, Samuel Zayn, if he's going to remain friends with Seth Rollins or if he's just going to go to SmackDown, man. Whatever, man. I can't stand the heat. I'm going to get out of the kitchen. That was the whole 2.5 hours. And you think the crowd is at fault? Or maybe is this type of creative booking horrible? It's fucking childish. It's absolutely mind-bogglingly low level, below fucking mid, I assure you, garbage. This is what they created. And Kansas City is showing up, and there is a moment, you guys watch the main event segment. It's Rollins and Sami Zayn, and they're doing the promo. And they're just going on and on for 10 fucking minutes. I could not believe how stupid this was. They're talking about being friends and how they were there for each other's, when their kids were born. And man, this is such a decision. And if you look at the crowd, look at them. They're rolling their eyes. They're slumped in their chairs. I can fucking speak. This show has put BC into a fucking wall. They're slumped down in their chairs. They're yawning. They're looking over to other people. Is anything else? Is there a beach ball anywhere? Does anybody have a coffee? And I don't even blame them. They zoomed in on Rollins and Sami, and you could see the audience not giving a single fuck. And they're to blame? Fuck that. BC was the same way. This shit sucked. I was live with my unit, Hour 1 watch along, channel members. That's on the channel right now in the live category. Check it out if you're a channel member, because BC ripped this show apart in the first hour, because that's how bad it was. The first hour and 10 minutes, I couldn't believe. I probably shouldn't have been shocked. Couldn't believe what we were watching just a week after Mania, but that's the show that we were getting. And this crowd is like, whoa, what is happening? Like, we came here to sing, chant, and have a good time. We can't even do it with this type of content. And there are people that don't understand professional wrestling, definitely not how to critique it, and they're going to blame the audience? This show was miserably bad. Miserably bad. Again, Becky Lynch and Val playing tag. War Raiders Judgment Day in a nonsensical, stupid-ass matchup that ended in the weirdest of fucking ways with Penta. NXT talent being called up to look like geeks, because that's what they were. And this is some of the best talent in the world. A storyline for the whole 2.5 hours that involved Sami Zayn making a decision. Do I want to be friends with Seth, or do I just want to walk away from this? Wow, exhilarating. 2025, Jey Uso and Sami Zayn are your Hulk Hogan and Warrior, your Austin and Rock. You're frickin' Undertaker, man. It is now Jey Uso and Sami Zayn. Those are your big headliners last night. And you wonder why the crowd was put to sleep. If Sami Zayn and Jey Uso are acceptable for you to be the top guys in WWE, or at least for these shows, have at it. Don't be shocked that BC and so many others are going, this ain't it, bro. Can Sami Zayn be a main eventer, a world champion? Sure, with the right booking. Jey Uso, a little harder, but with the right booking. You don't book Sami Zayn like an absolute tool for this long, keep him off of Mania, and all of a sudden we're supposed to feel something last night. Give a shit about this. Jey Uso's the same way. Forget about the fact that Jey Uso as a singles wrestler is 10% of what he can do as a tag team wrestler, because that's the truth. Jey Uso is a bad singles wrestler, just bad. That's my favorite tag team, man, as the Usos. Something changes when he's a singles wrestler. He just wrestles bad. And forget about the fact that so many of us can't stand the yeet, and it's annoying. It's probably annoying those backstage by now because they only gave him 5 minutes last night instead of 20. But forget all that. The fact that he was not booked properly for this spot is what has every true a wrestling fan that uses logic and common sense. What a wild concept, I know, but a true wrestling fan that knows what he's talking about, understands what he's viewing, what's actually good and what's actually not. We all knew that this doesn't make sense. Jey Uso is flip-flopping the IC title with Braun Breaker, then he goes for the world title, loses flat on his back looking up at the lights, Saturday night's main event a week before the Rumble. Then all of a sudden he wins the Rumble. And Michael Cole is screaming, he's got a main event mania. No, he didn't. He started the night. He wins the title by tapping out Gunther by his own move in 8 seconds. So he became Super Uso. But that's not how he's been booked his whole career. So the booking doesn't make sense. That's the biggest issue. And a lot of fans don't want to hear that. They just go, oh, the yeet is over. Just deal with it. Jey Uso, man, he deserves it. It's his time. Then do it correctly. If that's the road Hunter wants to go, then do it correctly is all we're asking. He can't lose to Gunther the way he did a week before the Rumble, then become Super Uso and eliminate everybody and win the Rumble, and then all of a sudden tap out Gunther in 8 seconds to his own move when we saw Gunther go through wars with people like McIntyre, Sheamus, Dragunov, and so many others. Wars. And Jey Uso just hasn't tapped out in 8 seconds. But that's the show last night. Jey Uso and Sami Zayn is what the show revolved around, because they didn't have CM Punk. They didn't have Roman Reigns because he doesn't do a lot of dates anymore anyway. You're probably not going to see this dude for months. When he does, he's most likely SmackDown anyway. And you have no stars. Why? Why don't you have stars? Because Hunter doesn't know how to build stars or doesn't give a shit to even try. He wants everybody to be 50-50. Nobody feels that they are bigger than the company. No egos the size of his. And he can continue to play the face of the company in the process. What a concept. Nobody can get bigger than Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Because there's a formula to make stars. And when you have all these face versus face matchups and heel versus heel matchups, no face can truly get over because they're just splitting the audience with other faces. No heel can truly become a diabolical heel if they're constantly facing other heels and even getting beat by those heels. This type of booking will destroy pro wrestling. The only thing that would be left to absolutely put the final nail into the coffin would be if you totally burn the curtain. Not rip the curtain, burn it, and expose the business to a point it can't come back from. Oh, wait. Hunter's already doing that with the WWE Netflix doc. Unreal is the show. It's called WWE Unreal, where he takes you into the writer's room, where now there will be no more magic to behold. No more suspending disbelief, or as I call it, suspending belief. They're not even giving you a chance to do that anymore. Because now you will know every single nuance, every single horrible decision that Hunter is making in real time. You'll get to actually see it now. On one hand, you want to say, isn't that a good thing? Now everybody will see how bad he is at his job. On the other hand, no, because that is going to literally when you totally piss and shit on kayfabe 100%, it's done. I always said there has to be a little part of kayfabe always still alive for the wrestling engine to keep going. But if they are going to keep exposing the business, smacking every one of you in the face at every moment of the day to make sure that you know that all this shit is fake, it's all choreographed, it's all planned. At every moment of the day, they want to go out of their way to remind you of that. Then you can't truly suspend the disbelief. You can't watch this really good feud end a show. You're watching this, you're at the edge of your seat, this is wild, and all of a sudden credits pop up like it's a television show. Paul Levesque McMahon and Lee Fitting. Takes you right out of it. Wait a second. Even a movie will wait till the show is done. It'll fade to black, the movie, fade to black, and then the credits will pop up. They just have it on the show like it's the WWE copyright logo. But that's not even it. 5 minutes later, there's going to be a press conference or there's going to be a show or an interview where Hunter Helmsley is going to tell you exactly what went into it. He's going to expose it all. So you don't even have a moment to digest it. So there's no superstars anymore. There's nobody larger than fucking life, man. Roman Reigns, okay, he's gone in 2 years, probably with Hunter Helmsley. Hunter Helmsley's gonna cash out and get the fuck out. Roman Reigns, he's already got a foot into Hollywood, or just he's always had 2 feet out of WWE. This wrestling thing, he's already past it. CM Punk, how much mileage is left? Jonathan Cena, thank goodness, came back to give us something to talk about. Imagine if he didn't. Could you imagine WrestleMania 41 before that awful finish? Could you imagine there'd be nothing to talk about. So you take Cena away. Who is left? Who? There's nobody. Randy Orton is like Punk. I mean, the mileage. What happens when you lose Punk and Orton? I don't even want to think of it. Jey Uso and Sami Zayn. Fucking, I don't care if this is a hot take. Fuck, because the way they're booked, it's the truth. Fucking mid-carders. They can hold all the titles. Mid-carders. Samuel Zayn, Jason Uso. You want me to fake the enthusiasm? You want me to take Sami Zayn and Jey Uso and talk about them like they're on the same level as Hulk Hogan and The Warrior? Savage and Flair? Austin and Rock? Taker and even Cena? You want me to literally put Jey Uso and Samuel Zayn in that category? Fuck that. And because I'm not a real fan, according to Hunter, I'm just a critic now. I can say that. Because as a critic, I have to be amplified to a whole nother level in terms of honesty. So I like this new thing. Hunter wants to say we're not real fans? Cool. We'll be amplified critics to a degree that is going to roast this company to its very foundation, and I'm cool with that. There are no fucking superstars on this show, and I'll use that word. There's no stars, period. And that includes Seth and his goofy outfits and his dumbass sing-alongs. There's no storylines that we give a fuck about. Even the live crowd wanted to fall asleep last night, and that's what this company is hanging their hat on these days. At least the live crowd will pay whatever we charge. They'll give us all their fucking money, and they'll fucking dance and yeet and look like and act like clowns. We'll go off the air, and it'll look like a party. But the past few shows, they're telling this company, no, we don't want to do that because your shit sucks. What happens when they lose the live crowd? So then they have to look at the numbers and the ratings and all the metrics and statistics, the numbers that are going backwards, which is all of them. And then they have to look at diminishing interest and ticket sales with the live crowd. We already saw they could not sell out leading up to Mania and at Mania. What happens if that becomes diminished even more and just like live events, fans stop showing up? Oh, it's just a matter of fucking time before this company is completely exposed for the fraud that it is. It claims to be entertainment. It is garbage. WWG, World Wrestling garbage. swig of coffee, and I'm going to talk about it. That was just a half an hour cold open. Now I'm going to show you exactly how bad it was and how lazy this was and how ultra boring. Because that's what it is. This is boring to a whole nother level, and it put the live crowd to sleep. And if you think we're going to blame the live crowd and not Hunter, because I know there's WWE shills. That's what they're called. A shill is somebody that'll just blow smoke up what they likes interest-wise up their ass nonstop. That's a shill. Whatever they do, yes, sir, yes, please, sir, yes, more, sir, yes, sir. And if it's bad, no, we look away, blind eye. No, that wasn't them. Nope. That's a WWE shill, it's called. And those shills will blame the live crowd, not Hunter Helmsley, for producing a fucking bullshit garbage show. Lazy, boring trash. They won't blame Hunter Helmsley. They'll blame the crowd. They'll blame the fucking crowd because they paid a lot of money. It showed up to a really bad show that was not worth cheering for at all. And because they showed that disinterest, because they weren't going to be fake, it's their fault and not Hunter Helmsley for producing the garbage that was produced. Not on this channel. Understand my words. On this channel, we're going to rip it apart. And we're going to do it right now. Samuel Zayn and the Alliance. Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker. 20-minute promo. 20 minutes. I was live with my unit during this. I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, what are we talking about? Why is this going on for 20 minutes? Why is Sami Zayn on my TV for 20 minutes? He should have nothing to do with Paul Heyman, Seth, and Breaker right now. This should be a monumental setup. This is the beginning of this faction. We really need a good reason, and we need a good segue. We need something big. A big angle has to happen last night. Samuel Zayn was your big angle. Sami Zayn, I don't like what you're doing, Seth. We were friends, and I don't like you hanging around these goofs. So Seth says, okay, well, Sami, we're going to need you to just join us, or every week you're going to get your ass whooped by us. That's how this is going to go. And Sami's got a decision, and they leave the ring after 20 minutes, and Sami's like, man, I really have to think about this. This is so fucking stupid. Backstage, a few segments later, Paul Heyman's telling him, I worked out a deal with SmackDown. You are going to get traded to SmackDown. You'll get an automatic title match with whoever wins John Cena or Randy Orton at Backlash. But if you stay, you're going to have to face Braun Breaker later tonight. I'm like, what? Who gives a fuck? Nobody needs to see Sami Zayn and fucking John Cena. And nobody needs to see Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn for the 85th time. And sure enough, by the end of the show, we wasted a fucking half an hour with the same fucking storyline. With the way that Sami Zayn has been booked, the year 2025, a week after a poor-ass, weak-ass, boring-ass Mania, if you were excited for the Samuel Zayn storyline, good for you, dude. I'm not even going to rip you. Good for you. But I can't lower my standards or my bar as low to go that. It's like limbo. How low can you go? I cannot lower my bar and my standards. No fucking way. If you can, that's fucking amazing. That's why I say good for you. Because this was so fucking cringe. I couldn't believe this is how we're spending 2.5 hours. Finding out if Sami Zayn is going to say F you to Seth. I would rather, and this is going to sound so harsh, but I don't care, because as a critic, this is what we can do now. I would rather put a loaf of bread and a gallon of milk directly into the smeltering sunshine. Right? Go out into the hottest, the brightest and the hottest, where the sun is cascading down. The sun is beaming down. I'd put a loaf of bread and a gallon of milk, and I would rather see which one spoils faster. Does the bread grow mold faster, or does the milk spoil and get sour before the bread molds? Doesn't that sound like a fun little science experiment? I'd rather do that than watch any of this promo. You know it's bad when I'd rather watch which food would spoil over the wrestlers doing mic work. I didn't care about the words they were saying. I didn't care about the fucking story they were talking about. I didn't care about the angle that Hunter was going in because it was all stupid, childish, lazy, boring. Should have put a disclaimer at the beginning of this show, right? Extra amplified today. I just had it. I've had it. I can't believe like this is because there's some people after last week, the post-Raw Mania, post-Mania Raw and SmackDown, you know, they put a lot of eggs into that basket. They seem a lot better than normal. So a lot of fans were already kind of dismissing WrestleMania and the poor-ass build, letting Hunter off the hook. And I told you guys, just wait. Wait till the following week. It's right back to the status quo bullshit, same as usual, business as usual, and sure enough. But I wanted to be wrong. I wanted this show to really deliver. I was live because I wanted to talk about it in a positive way. I wanted to critique it in a positive way, and this is what they give us. First matchup of the night, Rok-C versus Rhea Ripley. Giulia interferes. Rhea Ripley defeats Rok-C. Rok-C takes another loss. Iyo then comes to the ring. Iyo clears house. Then the heels beat up Iyo. Then Rhea gets in the ring and the heels retreat. And that's your segment. Just a bonkers clusterfuck. They brought up some NXT talent so they can still continue this Rhea Ripley Iyo bullshit. You know Hunter wants to get that title back on Rhea. She was going to get it back at Mania. But there was this huge backlash, no pun intended, and resistance against Rhea. Because the way she was booked, people said no to that. They didn't want her just crying and bitching to get a match at Mania for the title when she does not earn it. She didn't win the Rumble. She didn't win the Elimination Chamber. She lost her title straight up to Iyo. And because you're crying, you're pulling a Daniel Bryan to get into Edge and Roman Reigns' title match. It rendered the Royal Rumble meaningless. It rendered Elimination Chamber meaningless. And that's what she did. She cried her way in, so they couldn't put the title on her. Iyo has this momentum. They had to keep it on her. I truly believe they're trying to find a way to get that back to Rhea. So they're using NXT talents. And Giulia, who's one of the best female wrestlers in the world, and Rok-C is on her way to becoming one. Love Rok-C. They look like geeks out there. With the final image being the WWE superstars Rhea and Iyo while they run away. Giulia's not running away. Even as a heel, stop. Giulia's going to stand straight up and whoop your ass. Rok-C, okay, she can play that heel a little better, but I'm sick of seeing her collect L's. W's I would love. I'm sick of seeing her collect L's on NXT and the main roster. That's the problem. They did this with Braun Breaker, and then they wonder why they had to put him in a faction to try to get him over because nothing was working. Well, you put Braun Breaker in a fucking hole. He was supposed to be called up. You brought him back to NXT for a full year. You had him go on a losing streak. Then you tagged him up with Baron Corbin. And then you finally brought him to the main roster. And you wonder now why it took so long for people to give a fuck? That was her first match, a clusterfuck women's matchup. And then it just got boring to another whole fucking level. Boring, that word doesn't do it justice. You had Raiders versus Judgment Day. J.D. McDonald's complete with his french fries, Happy Meal, and a little toy inside versus Finn Balor. Finn Balor has not been relevant since the Demon days. Just bring back the fucking Demon at this point. I'm done. I know, we all like Finn Balor, right? We all like Finn. Basically, I like Finn. He could be world champion. I know. But the booking, it would take him 2 years for me to fully believe that Finn Balor's a world champion. Stop. If anything, he's going to beat Dominic for the IC championship. And maybe if it's a good story, I'll give a fuck. I am completely done with just saying because we like an individual, they deserve a title. Or I'm supposed to fake enthusiasm because I like this wrestler. I like Sami Zayn. I do. I like Jey Uso. I do. I like Finn Balor. I do. This booking, I wouldn't even put him in the mid-card. I don't even care when they're out there. That's how poorly booked they are. Jey Uso's got a world title. I don't even give a fuck about him. Sami Zayn's out there. I'm just like, please get this over with. Finn Balor's backstage doing some goofy ass segment or wrestling in the ring, and I couldn't even give a flying fuck. I am not interested at all in a Finn Balor match. I never thought I would say that. Don't give a fuck about any of this. You think I'm watching WWE to watch good wrestlers have good wrestling matches? I can go to the local bingo hall. Get in for free, too. And from sun up to sundown, watch great wrestling all day, every day. I'm watching for the larger-than-life stars and the storylines that have us on the edge of our seat, the feuds that have to culminate at a pay-per-view, and we can't wait to see it. Where's that feeling? The Raiders defeat Judgment Day. Penta decides this match. Penta shoves McDonald's off the top rope. So he ricochets off the top rope, and JD McDonald's loses his Happy Meal. His fries go all over the place. He loses his toy in the third row. Rumor has it he still hasn't found it. That's the latest word we're getting. It's like a little Pokemon toy they're putting in the Happy. It went somewhere in the third row, and he never got it back. So Penta, you owe him a Happy Meal, and the little toy included. But in all seriousness, Penta shoves him, and that's the match, man. War Raiders lose moments later. The fuck is Penta doing? What is Penta? And then he gets on the commentary table and he tries to hype the crowd up. Kansas City doesn't give a shit. And he's doing his dance. I like Penta. I do. But it's clear. Hunter doesn't have a fucking plan. Hunter doesn't know what he's doing. He's put him in a weird fatal four-way at WrestleMania. In a position where dirty Dominic Mysterio got cheered heavier than Penta, your face. And then he puts Penta in this weird tag team situation where the crowd clearly didn't give a fuck. He's about to throw his shoulders out, his rotator cuffs, trying to get them to make noise on the commentary table. What part of this tag team match is fun? Breaking your ankle would be more fun than this. You know how I know? I did. I broke my ankle, and guess what? It was exhilarating because I felt something. This match, this show, this company, this product, Hunter Helmsley, makes you feel nothing. It used to be you just sit on the couch or wherever you're watching like one of those zombies from The Walking Dead or The Last of Us. But now you're clearly seeing that the crowds are slumped in their chairs like a zombie from Walking Dead or Last of Us. Wrestling always used to make us feel something. Wrestling today, WWE anyway, makes you feel absolutely lifeless. Like you are zombie status. And then we go into hour number 2, and this show cannot get over fast enough. Becky Lynch promo. Now I'm thinking, okay, hopefully there's something really good planned here, man. Becky, there has to be a big angle that transpires here. You had her do the turn on Lyra after having her win titles with her. 24 hours later, she's turning. This is weird, but if you have something really good, now's the time to initiate it. And Becky just says some words and Lyra comes out. Lyra says some words, drop kicks Becky. Becky runs away. Lyra's high-fiving little babies on the way up the ramp. Becky somehow comes out of the curtain, so she ran through the crowd, comes out of the curtain, and takes out Lyra. And that's how the segment ends. Tag, you're it. What was that? It's like hide and seek. I don't know what that was. She runs away through the crowd. She comes back around the curtain, takes her out, and then runs away again. I'm like, what? This is a circus. And that is what is supposed to be memorable. When you're talking with the friends at school, or maybe you're talking with the boys around the cubicle, you're at your job, and you're talking some WWE. Oh, yeah, what's at the pay-per-view? Oh, Lyra and Becky. Oh, yeah, man. That's freaking huge. You saw how Val took out Becky and Becky ran away, but then came around and sneak attacked her and knocked her out. Oh, that was wild, dude. She must have had to run her ass off to run around the arena to get back through the curtain. That was wild, dude. We got to see that, man. I'm definitely checking that out, man. That's the match of the night. Who's saying that? Nobody's saying that. It's lazy, man. It's lazy. Do you know, like if BC was head of creative in WWE, and my responsibility is to take care of 2.5 hours on Raw. Here's the list of wrestlers that I have to work with. Here's the story projections that dipshit Dugenheimer, Hunter Helmsley has. BC, do your thing. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to create. From top of that show to I get goosebumps thinking about it. You are going to be wildly entertained to the point of captivated at the edge and maybe falling out of your seat. You are going to... You're going to get a complete show, man. BC, I need you to book Lyra and Becky. I only have 2 weeks to do this. You got to make this must-see at the pay-per-view, the PLE. Cool? Here I go. This is where the fun begins. What are we going to do on Monday night that's going to make people remember what they just saw with Lyra and Becky? And not just remember, but talk about it. And make people go, I want to see them wrestle now. I want to see them fight. This is lazy. I always say, and it's not just a joke. You can have a few crayons and a coloring book and book this. Right? Because it's childish. But it's true. Think about what went into this. Think about just the last two segments I just talked about, right? I'm going to book War Raiders versus 2 members of Judgment Day. Penta, come out at the end and push JD McDonald's. Okay, what else, boss? Nope, that's it. That'll be the match. Penta, just shove off JD McDonald's. Next, okay, we're going to have Becky Lynch promo. She's going to have to say why she turned on Lyra. Just say because she's had enough. Lyra, go out there, knock her down. Becky, run. Come back a minute later and take out Lyra when she's turned around. Next, let's do Stephanie Vaquer versus Ivy Nile. Okay, what's going to be the big hook, boss? Nothing. That's just it. Just have them wrestle, take up 10 minutes, and then we'll move on to McAfee. You don't want nothing with Stephanie and Ivy? No, because she's NXT anyway. I just want to kind of throw out a filler. And that actually happened, by the way. After the whole Becky Val bullshit, Stephanie Vaquer, who's amazing, NXT World's Champion for the women, she just pins Ivy Nile. Ivy looks up at the lights after a few minutes for no reason other than what it looks like is filler. That's it. Yeah, nothing. Ivy's better than that, man. I mean, Ivy, you have to utilize Ivy better than these positions, man. Ivy's better than just an L catcher. But that's what I mean. I mean, this whole show, you could book that. You don't need any prerequisites. And it's what Vince Russo always says about Hunter Helmsley. He's not a writer. He's not a creator. He was around Dusty and William Regal and really creative people in black and gold. And the bill was footed by his father-in-law. Vince McMahon kept that operation going. Hunter never put a dime into it. So this dude got to fly down to Orlando once a week, play Papa H, and for a few years, yeah, it was rocking. And then when he started getting his ass whooped by AEW, he ran. He was out. Check you. Congratulations, you beat a developmental brand, he said. Now all of a sudden it's developmental? I had to get more coffee. It just pisses me off that the fate of WWE, something we all love and we're passionate about, and we started watching, a lot of us, way before Hunter Hearst Helmsley was even in that company. It's all in the hands of this dude, Hunter Helmsley, that doesn't have a clue what he's doing. He doesn't have an ounce, or doesn't put an ounce of effort into any of this. Nothing makes sense. It's all illogical. It's lazy, it's boring, and this is the dude that's in charge of all the content. It's frustrating. Stephanie Vaquer pins Ivy Nile. That's it. I put that in my notes too. That's it. Laugh my ass off. That's it. I wish I could tell you something more. It's a television show, and you just got that. And then McAfee stands on top of the commentary table, and he cuts a promo on Gunther. He calls Mike Cole the greatest ever. What? Now, maybe if you say one of the greatest ever, but you can't say that, bro. But what about Gorilla Monsoon? He'll run circles around Mike Cole. And that's much respectable. Over the years, he's grown on me, and I respect him a lot more. Gorilla Monsoon? Says hold my coffee. Gordon Soley? Jim Ross? And I'm talking about the actual comment. I'm not talking about the color commentators like Bobby Heenan guys. And the Jesse Venturas and all them. I'm talking about the straight up what Michael Cole does, the play-by-play. Jim Ross, Gorilla Monsoon, Gordon Soley. I mean, Michael Cole is good. I'm going to give him credit. I know for years we were like, oh my God, this dude sucks. But no, he's good. And I feel he's just gotten better over the last couple of years have been hard. You can tell he's ready to ex-nay it. He's ready to call it. Michael Cole is just... Pat McAfee was the person he wanted to hire because he just wants to kind of bullshit now through these shows. And you can tell. But even that's kind of run its course. And he's not having as much fun as he used to, even with Pat McAfee. I just think Michael Cole's... Yeah, the sun is setting on the career, at least on the headset. But I respect the dude. But to say he's in the category of Gorilla Monsoon and Jim Ross, there's an it factor that you just have to have, and Jim Ross and Monsoon had it. Michael Cole had to get that over time. It was never instilled in him. So he can never be the greatest ever. That may be a harsh hot take, but it's reality. Now, if McAfee said one of the greatest ever, I wouldn't have batted an eyelash, man, because I respect Michael Cole, and he's done a lot on that headset over the years. And he was good for most of those years. One of the greatest, I have no problem. Dude, say it. But the greatest, man, I had to spend a minute and just go, that's actually a false statement. And then McAfee starts talking about, what was he talking about? Like helping communities and helping, how his face is one of the most recognizable in sports. And, you know, this kid who grew up with not a lot now is one of the most recognized people. And I try to do good. I donate. I do all the stuff in the communities and all the charities and the LBT, JTQV, whatever, all the letters, right? They just keep adding letters to those organizations, but I help out those causes. The people that have all the letters. Them. They, we, us. He helps out. That's awesome, by the way. That's awesome. No shade. That is cool, man. If you got it, help. Help out all the organizations, help out all the causes, help out all the charities. That's cool. The fuck does that have to do with Gunther? So what are you saying? You're a nice guy and you don't want to fight Gunther, but what Gunther did last night, taking out the best play-by-play guy ever, Mike Cole, and what he did to you, choked you out. I mean, dude, you came up and you were pushing him back. You got dropped. But we understand that you're one of the nicest people and you do so much for the community. But get on to what you're saying, bro. So finally he challenges Gunther. And you don't have Adam Pearce come out because Pearce doesn't even like this show, so he just stayed home. He's like, I'm just calling out. I don't want to show up. So Nick Aldis comes out and he's like, I am lifting the suspension that we just put on last week. I'm going to lift it. And in 12 days, now it's 11, you're going to take on Gunther. Well, that was a fast suspension. So it's clear that the master plan that Hunter had to make everybody forget about Gunther tapping out in 8 seconds his own move to Jason Uso, the tag team guy. His big plan was, don't worry, we're going to have you destroy the commentators. And that's going to make fans go, oh, Gunther's back. He's vicious. He's badass. It's going to take more than destroying Matthew McAfee. And even Michelob Cole. Even if you want to beat him up at Backlash as well, right? Because I'm hearing they both want to take some time off. You can have them tap out Joe Tessitore, Byron Saxton, and Corey Graves. Corey Graves, much of the fan base will actually appreciate that. Maybe this will be a way to put Corey Graves back on Monday Night Raw, right? You write Pat McAfee off of TV at Backlash. You try to make Gunther look like a big badass again. Bro, he tapped out in 8 seconds to his own move to Jason Uso. It's going to take more than beating up commentators. And that's how tone deaf, that's how stupid Hunter Helmsley has become, maybe always was. He doesn't even understand that. The booking for Gunther is so bad. And Gunther tries his best to get on Hunter's good side, right? He saved pro wrestling. Meanwhile, Hunter has this dude that should be a diabolical heel, one of the best in the business today. He has him shaking Cody Rhodes' hand, a top face. He has him shaking Randy Orton's hand, a top face. He has him losing in 8 seconds to his own move, tapping out. And then he has him picking on commentators. And last week, Jey Uso was out there for 20 minutes. Gunther didn't want any part of it. The second Jey went to the back, Gunther comes out and picks a fight with commentators. And Helmsley thinks this is what's going to put Gunther back on the map? You dug a hole that's going to be so hard for Gunther to dig out of. Congratulations, Hunter Helmsley. Another fucking booking botch, but that's this dude's MO. And then we went to the third hour, guys. The show was done at that point. They just spent the last half an hour on Rollins and Sami. Another promo. Second promo of the night. As if the first one didn't put this crowd to sleep and everybody watching wherever they were watching. They're going to have a second promo. And this is where Sami says, I decided no. I mean, Seth was going on and on about 20 years of friendship, being fathers together. He was going on and on. It was putting the live crowd to sleep. I was watching them. You guys can look at that segment. Look at the crowd behind. They were falling asleep, and you can't blame the crowd. The story sucks. Nobody cares about this story. It's stupid. And they waited the entire night to watch a Sami Zayn segment with Seth. They put together a faction, and the wrestling world was kind of backing it this whole week. We were like, ooh, Breakker and Rollins could be something special with Paul Heyman. Let's see where this goes. And their big plan? A Sami Zayn feud. Reminds you of New Day when they turned heel. And everyone's like, this is going to work, I think. As long as they have something even semi-decent planned. They put him in a program with LWO. And the New Day was done. There's no feeling behind them now. They had a chance to be something great. You had to do something. You had to capitalize on that momentum, right? Strike while the iron is hot. You do not let it cool off. The second that the water starts to boil, you put the pasta in now. The water finally is boiling. Now you start to cook. You don't boil the water and then shut the stove off. Put nothing in the pot. So this group looks like a bunch. I just want them off the TV at this point. I'm like, what is Breakker, Rollins, and Paul Heyman going to do? If this is it, no thank you. This is worse than what the Bloodline became. This is what are we watching this for? Because you know it's going to lead to a bunch of random stupid-ass tag team matches, by the way. Rollins will most likely get the championship from Jason Uso in the future, and who's going to give a shit? Him and his goofy-ass clothes comes down with a fucking shiny-ass toy now. Is that going to make me care about Seth Rollins? I'm shooting with you, man. I'm talking straight honesty, and you know this, man. My unit understands that every single word that I am spewing right now is a great concern, but ultimate amplified truth. And it's sad that I have to speak this, but this is the truth. Seth Rollins wins a title. Who gives a fuck about a Jey Uso Seth Rollins match? Think about it, guys. That's stupid. It ain't gonna be booked properly. You ain't gonna have a fun fucking hook for the feud. And if you truly want Seth to be a heel and you want this to work as a heel, wouldn't you change his fucking theme song and stop the sing-along anyway? Because that's what happened here. After more fucking talk about nothing, about being friends, and they were fathers together and this and that, finally Sami Zayn says, no. The crowd didn't give a fuck. I honestly did not know or care what was even at stake. I was like, wait, what happens if he says no? He goes to SmackDown? I didn't even give a fuck. He says no, Braun Breaker comes out, and they go to a 4-minute commercial. No joke. We come back from commercial. Braun Breaker defeats Sami Zayn with 85 spears. This is a match we've already seen 85 times. So now we're seeing it again in 2025, a week after Mania. Exhilarating television. Now he gets beat by 85 spears. The crowd is chanting one more time. This is your big baby face. Sami Zayn, he's relatable. When we give him a championship, the crowd's going to go, you deserve it. And the crowd didn't even give a fuck he was getting his ass whooped. They were chanting one more time. Rollins does a stomp. The crowd cheers and starts chanting one more time. And then sings along to Sethington's song as we go off the air. You want to talk about but you didn't think... Hunter Helmsley, wake up, bro. This is not helping anybody. You didn't help Sami Zayn last night. He looks like an absolute geek with an entire arena glad to see him getting his ass whooped because for the first time they woke up. Hey, somebody's getting a whooping. They don't even care who it is. If you didn't watch the show, and I know a lot of you guys don't, you just listen to BC's reviews, and I appreciate you guys big time for making BC your one stop for pro wrestling. Because I'm all you need at this juncture, because I'm the only one to tell you the truth about this shit. Because that's what it is, shit. But if you did not catch it, if you do catch it, watch vividly with a keen eye. Listen. That crowd didn't give a fuck that Sami Zayn was getting annihilated. They were enjoying it. They wanted more. For the first time in the night, they were like, all right, hey, just whoop somebody's ass. I know we're at the end of the night. Annihilate him. Give him 74 more spears and stomp him 12 more times. Screw it, the fact that we like Sami. Seth has his same sing-along song, so a lot of these fans are going to show up and they just want to sing along like the dude in the crowd that said, I just came here to yeet. So change his song if he's a true heel. But if you still want him to be a tweener, then booking him like this with Sami Zayn, what are you doing to Sami, man? Unless you're Sami going to be a heel? I doubt it. We already saw that. In the whole past 2 years, your whole hook for Sami Zayn is he's the ultimate good guy who always does things the right way. That's what he said last night in the promo 16 times. The show ends with everybody... First of all, can I just say, during the Braun Breaker match with Sami Zayn, do you want to know how tuned out the crowd was? They were playing with their phones. This is no bullshit. They all took out their phones as if Wyatt was out there, and they just started fucking doing their phones, man. Now, maybe there was something that... Maybe there was a code that popped up, maybe a Wyatt 6 graphic, something, maybe. But they were having more time playing with their phones. Nobody gave a fuck about the match. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So at the time when finally somebody's getting their asses whooped, they were loving that. They didn't care who it was. That's how you know you're booking a bad show. If you're not getting the responses that you were hoping for, if the fans in attendance don't even give a shit, you know you're not booking the right show. Because Hunter already said that the fans that don't like what they're watching, that aren't showing up and yeeting for 20 minutes, we're not real fans. We can fuck off. But what happens when the supposed real fans stop yeeting and stop giving a shit about what they're viewing? Are you going to label them not real too and tell them to fuck off? Because eventually you'll go under 1 million in viewership, and even your TV events will start being half filled like your live events became. That's the amplified truth. And that's how the show went off the air with this new faction staring at the hard cam. Nobody giving a fuck. Singing along, playing with their phones. This show was boring to a whole nother level, and that's saying something. This show, you could tell, had no thought, no care whatsoever put into this. Hunter Helmsley couldn't be bothered to give us even any semblance of a decent show last night. Raw 4/28/25. Garbage from top to bottom. And if anybody, I mean, if you guys listen to another fucking journalist or a creator or a podcaster and they try to sell you that this was even a decent show, they're lying to you. I hope you enjoyed being lied to, because you are being bullshitted for some type of gain, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the clicks, the views, maybe they're making a boatload of money, maybe it's just business for them, I don't know. But they're lying. I'm telling you honestly. The live crowd told you, BC and the unit can tell you, this was garbage from top to bottom. Boring to a whole nother level. And BC will always drop that reality to you guys, because you guys have earned it. You deserve it. And I'll always give you that respect to be honest about it. Even if it's hard to talk about, because we don't want to talk about these shows like this. We don't. We were hoping that they're good. I watch Raw. 2 main reasons, habit and hope. Habit, I've been doing this since I was a little kid, watching every Monday night, and hoping that one day it gets better. You don't think I want to talk positive? Under Hunter Helmsley, somehow this is getting even worse. 4/28/25's Raw. Boring to a whole nother level. One of the worst Raws I've ever witnessed, and I've seen some really bad ones. Until next time, and there will be that next time, 44 Dive, that's a wrap. BC in the unit. Saying check you. Salud!